All right, let's start with some late-breaking news out of Rupert Murdoch's News Corp. Les Hinton, he is the chief executive of News Corp's Dow Jones unit. He stepped down this afternoon. In a memo, Hinton said that I was ignorant of what apparently happened and is irrelevant, and in the circumstances, I feel it is proper for me to resign from News Corp and apologize to those hurt by the actions of News of the World. Now, News International chief executive Rebekah Brooks resigned this morning over that phone hacking scandal. Investigations continue in the United Kingdom and an investigation in the United States by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Now, joining me now with more by telephone, we have Rich Torrenzano. He's the chairman and chief executive of the Torrenzano Group. A specialty is crisis management. Rich Torrenzano, good to have you with us. You were on yesterday talking about what News Corp needed to do in order to perhaps gain the upper hand as part of this investigation. The departure of Les Hinton, is that part and parcel of the plan?
I think it is. We talked about the departure, or that we talked yesterday that Rebekah should have resigned or at least been sidelined for a while, and that happened shortly after our discussion aired. This is a very significant. I think this is even more significant. The Hinton resignation, because Hinton has been with Murdoch for 52 years, is a very trusted deputy, is a very important part of the organization, and that is very significant. And clearly, it probably should not be a surprise in retrospect, because he preceded Brooks as the chief executive of News International.
What does this do, though, for News Corp to have both of these top executives resign? I mean, does it change any of the legal implications for the company?
It does not. Not one bit. I think what it does do is it does start to attack the leadership who had oversight responsibility during this troubled time.
Now, this phone hacking scandal and the investigation, they go back to 2003. Does this make it easier for News Corp now to respond to ongoing investigations in the United States by the FBI, as well as the parliamentary investigation in the United Kingdom?
I don't think it's any easier. If my memory serves me correctly, I think that Hinton had testified in 2007 in London about these issues. And you also talked yesterday that Joe Klein had been appointed by Murdoch to conduct an internal investigation. And we also said yesterday that I thought that Murdoch should pick a major player on the police scene, a former head of the FBI, a former deputy head of the FBI, which has police and prosecution experience. And again, shortly after our broadcast, nothing to do with our conversation, I'm sure, but he said he would appoint such a person. Joe Klein's a very credible guy, but he is a member of the News Corp management team, and I think this has to be taken outside to make that investigation independent. And that would be credible, I think, in the eyes of investors and media and other constituent groups, depending on who he picks.
Rich Torrenzano, Les Hinton says that he was ignorant of what went on in terms of the phone hacking scandal at News of the World. Does this now help the credibility of News Corp that both of these executives are gone?
Well, that's a statement he did make, but I think, again, the questions for Murdoch when he testifies next week before the Parliament, and for sure he will be testifying before Congressman King's committee, the Homeland Security Committee in the House, as perhaps another committee in the Senate. You know, what did they know and when did they know it? Those are the two strategic questions that will be asked, and all the other questions will come from there. This is really just an awful thing, because one thing is to bribe people without special powers, journalists. Another thing is to bribe police, who in our society, regardless of which side of the pond they're on, have special powers in our societies, special information that no one has access to. So this really gets to the core of our democracy. And I think this is going to continue to be the top of the news for the weeks and months to come.
All right, I want to thank you very much. Rich Torrenzano coming to us from the Torrenzano Group, speaking about the resignation of Les Hinton as the chief executive of Dow Jones & Company. That's the unit that publishes the Wall Street Journal. It's a unit of News Corp. And of course, we must say that Bloomberg News competes with many News Corp news properties.